Alright, what's up, fam? Alright, we're back again with another video, another Wondering Ways video. Uh, it's Wondering Ways week. We're gonna be covering Wondering Ways content and related videos, all leading up to the release of Wondering Ways. And today we got ourselves a video here. Is Wondering Ways different from Genshin? And the answer to that is, I would say, in my humble opinion, is just based off the comeback mechanics alone is different enough from Genshin to the point of where it could stand alone as its own game and it could have great success. I truly believe that that is what Wuthering Waves is going to achieve, and so I do believe that Wuthering Waves is different enough from Genshin. I mean, there's so many things like the quality. I mean, hopefully the quality of life is different. Hopefully the developers add more end game, the comeback as I just mentioned, and honestly, I think in terms of like and traversing the open world, right? Like climbing cliffs, using grappling hooks. If only they could make the gliders a bit faster, then I think they got all aspects of traversing the land at 100%. That would be good. But yeah, that's why I believe. I truly believe that Wuthering Waves is different enough from Genshin. Let's hear what stioorg thinks. This is another guy who's covering gotcha games lately. I do like his content. And I love the way he covers them. Uh, Dude has really good editing skills and abilities. Uh, and yeah, let's dive right into it. Make sure you do comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let's just dive right into it. Go and here we go.
Yo, today I'm gonna talk about how different Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves are. A lot of people
Okay.
are concerned like why would we play another Genshin clone? So I'm gonna talk about the real differences between the two.
The reason why you want to play a quote unquote Genshin clone is because the Genshin clone has most likely more elements and more mechanics in the game that is better than the original. So yeah, that's maybe one of the reasons why you want to play a clone. I think that's a good enough reason.
Two games and also the improvements. So the first and most important thing is the combat. Genshin Impact's combat works with the elements, using 4 characters in the team. Every character has one ability, one ultimate. You can use normal attacks, charge attacks, plunge attacks, and of course you can dodge. A
Yeah.
lot of people love the Genshin Impact combat, especially in the early game. Now for Wuthering Waves, there is 3 characters in the team. Every character has one ability, one ultimate, and one special ability. This ability is always filled with the bar, and most characters use it with the charge attack. But what's very different here is that there's something called outro skills and intro skills. You can be using one character's ultimate
And that's the thing. I've never heard intro skill and outro skill. At this point, with the amount of buttons that you can use for Wuthering Waves, because you think about it, right? You got your normal, you got your heavy, you have aerial, which I guess aerial normal attack. You have the heavy aerial attack. You got dodge. You got parry. You got the intro skill, outro skill. You have the like. There's so many buttons that you could pick. At this point, Wondering Ways might as well make a fighting game. At this point, with all these freaking like options that you could choose on how to play as the character, you might as well make it to a fighting game. And what I mean by fighting game, like Street Fighter or Tekken, something like that.
and then switch to another character while the ultimate is in the animation, except if this ultimate is a manual one. And also the more counters you make, because this game has a parry system for every elite enemy and
Yeah,
boss, you
yeah,
will
yeah.
get intro skills, so it makes switching to another character very smooth. And this
Yeah.
intro skill is very rewarding, so the game always rewards you for dodging and countering. And also the game has more movement, you can double jump, you can use a grappler, you can
Yeah.
backflip, and you can spam the plunge attack. So
Yeah.
this opens up so many combos. But one of the most unique things here is the ecosystem. You can use some of the mobs that you
Yeah, the ecosystem is really good. I can't wait to try out hopefully like I said, the Echo Dike kit, hopefully uh the free echoes that you get from the web event. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a chance to get the one that fits Genshin, and maybe we could work from there. But I'll try to get the best I can get for her. She's gonna be my 5-star character that I'm good like my free 5-star character that I'm gonna pick in the 5-star selector when the game launches. So there is that. What I was going to say is like yeah, the fact that they're introducing the ecosystem is very cool. I did hear that one of the issues that a couple people have with it with the ecosystem is that there's only 6 shiny ones, and apparently there's a you don't it takes away like the fun I think out of it when it's like there are 6 shiny echoes and also you know where they are. I think that's not with just with shiny echoes, but with echoes like in general. Like on the map, if you were to like explore the land, you could there's probably like an indicator, like something something like this, right? Where it's like your player is covering like this cursor, like this wherever this thing is, like this viewpoint, and then you got this other thing right here. It's clearly a objective, right? Make milky fish soup, like clearly that's an objective here, right? Like a side mission. But it's like somewhere on the map, you probably there's probably like an indicator where it's like, oh, echo here. It's like, and then it's like, let's say you die in the game or you fail, right? And you respawn, and you get sent to like a nearby teleport or whatever, and then it's like that same echo that like kill you is still there in the same location. I think it should be. I think if they're gonna add like the echoes part of it, especially shiny echoes, I think they need to have them not only spread out, but it's just like have the echoes keep moving. Just don't let them be stationary in one spot because it's just like I think for me personally, that this could be a personal thing for me, but it's like kind of like takes the fun out of it to where if you know where a specific echo that you really want is, you even if you die in the game, you don't have to worry about it because you can just respawn and go to that same location and try again. And that may sound convenient, but at the same time, it's like maybe there should be like some amount of like actual risk, especially if you're trying to obtain a higher echo with a high power level or high, yeah, like kind of like a high power level. It's like if you're gonna try to get a shiny echo, there does be kind of like a risk factor to it. Towards like if you f up here and you don't dodge or parry and you die, that's it. Shiny echo gone. It's like you better good luck with that. I also heard that like apparently you could buy like specific shiny echoes in like a shop. I hope that's not a thing because at that point it's just like, so why do I gotta explore the world for these echoes when I could just buy them in the shop and like save up the currency used to buy them? It doesn't make sense. So hopefully they get rid of that, and make the shiny echoes move around or just echoes like move around in general. Don't have them be in the same spot. Make traversing and exploring the world, like take advantage of the open world concept of the game and just um yeah, make it interesting for people to look for echoes. But all right, enough yapping. Let's see what stioorg is gonna keep talking about here.
You got from the world, equip them and use some of their abilities, and these echoes are very very strong and they have different abilities. Some of
Yeah.
them can do so much damage, some of them can buff, some of them can heal, you know the drill. Now since
Yeah.
this is a gacha game, we have to talk about the gacha systems and rates.
Oh
For
yeah,
the
of
normal
course.
banners, it's not very different, it's just an improvement. So Wuthering Waves
Yeah.
has more rates, so you have more chance of getting a 4-star or 5-star, but the big difference is mostly in the weapon banners, because the weapon banners
Yeah,
don't
what you
have a
say?
50-50, and whenever you wish on a banner, you are guaranteed to get the weapon that you want.
Nice.
And you can get every 5-star you want at 80 pity. And this seems very, very good.
It's such a really good concept to like, yeah, you know what? We're gonna keep it 50-50 for like the characters. I mean that's it makes sense, right? I mean that's kind of like a standard, I believe, where it's like made the characters 50-50. But for the weapons, it's like for the featured weapons of like specific characters, I mean, it's like, yeah, having them 100% guarantee. And I'm assuming the way they're gonna have this banner laid out is if it's like two banners, right? Or yeah, if it has two 5-star characters, right? Kind of like with Genshin, like for example, like in Genshin Hawkeye Star Roll. Let's say for example, you have a rerun character Kafka, and then you have a new character, um, like Raw May or Daughter Ratio. It's like and then you have the two character banners and then the two weapon banners. I'm assuming Wuthering Waves they're gonna have a banner or a patch like that where it's like two 5-star characters and two of their two separate you know weapon banners for like the specific character. So yeah, the 100% guarantee on the weapon that is really good. I mean that's really good. That's gonna definitely attract a lot of players in to play the game. Uh, and the rates, yeah, the rates aren't too bad, right? I mean, yeah, Hawkeye Sorrow has 75-25, and yeah, it's not 100%, but still, that's still like way better than just having a 50-50 on weapon banner, and then it's like, oh, you lost it, then it's like, oh, well, you still have a chance to lose it again, and it's like, good, congratulations, you got it a third time. Like what? Like that's so. Now again, previously the weapon banner on Genshin was worse than that, but still, wildlife it still feels like it's still so bad. Like it's like the coin fate thing really doesn't change anything. It just makes it like okay, after losing two 50/50s, now you get the feature 5-star weapon for the character. Oh man, and it's like, and here's the thing, it's like why? Another thing, real quick, I'm just gonna like a little rant here, real quick about Genshin. It's like why Genshin? It's like you have specific weapons for a character that you're releasing, and the weapon changes something like aesthetic wise about the character's gameplay. I mean, the only the reason I'm bringing that up is like because of the freaking not complaint, but like the issue that I had with Arachino to where apparently I thought that you have to get her signature weapon in order to like have like a scythe. Like her feature weapon, Arachino's, when I think it's when you activate her E and then you hold down the E skill and like you just mash E or like you just mash E. Um, her freaking pole arm turns into a scythe. And fun fact about me, everyone, I love scythe users. I just love the scythe weapon. All right, it's so freaking cool and it's I've seen it be used in so many like good scenes in like an anime and like in video games. Like it's just such a good weapon. Like I think it's really underrated, but that's just my opinion. But I just really love that weapon. I love that weapon. But it's like yeah, for Arachino, for her pole arm, it's like you could only use the scythe. At least I thought you could only use the scythe or turn the pole arm to a scythe unless you pull for her feature weapon. Now it turns out you don't need that. You still get the scythe outline of it, but it's yellow. Why not just keep it red? And here's the thing, the scythe like animation and like the outline and the way it's designed looks so much like better on the feature pole arm than like the other pole arms that Archino that you would give Archino to use. Because it's just a freaking like money grab opportunity to be like, hey, don't you like this weapon? It looks really good on this character, and it's like, no, I do like it, but it's like, why are you trying to make me pull multiple times for the weapon? Just give me, just give me exactly that with her, like that same feature you have with the scythe for her feature. Just do it with the rest of the pole arms as well. You could have just made the outline like red. You made it yellow and gold, which is it's just weird to me. I don't understand it, but that's just my little rant of like It's like if you have this specific 5-star weapon, it's like this character gameplay style looks really it's like it's different. It's like why? It's like why? And I get it. If it's like it makes more sense if it comes at a cost, like or at a risk, right? I just don't understand it.
Good, but also it depends on how generous the game will be, which is something I will talk about in another video, so be sure to subscribe. Another
Okay.
big different thing here, since we know that the game heavily focuses on combat, Wuthering Waves will have more endgame content than Genshin Impact, starting
Of
with
course.
3 different modes. One of them is very casual, the other one is mostly a stat check like the Abyss, but with a little bit of more strategy with the energy system. And lastly, we have the Hologram, which is more hardcore because it has very difficult bosses that always one-shot you, and it brings
Yeah.
up a very good challenge. With
Okay.
that said, even the weekly bosses like Scar will be very cool and very fun to play against, and like Genshin Impact, some of the bosses can be a little slow, especially if this boss isn't in the hologram, but a
Uh-huh.
lot of other bosses are crazy. Now for the explorations, the puzzles and everything like that is kinda similar. Genshin does have some better puzzles, Wuthering Waves also has some fun puzzles too, but the huge difference here is the movement. In Genshin Impact you will need mobility characters. You'll probably need Yelan or Lynette, and for vertical you probably need a Kazuha or
Yeah.
a Scaramouche, and they're kinda doing a good job with the latest characters by giving them a lot of mobility, because this is a problem in Genshin Impact and they're kinda trying to stop it. But
Yeah.
in Wuthering Waves you do not need any of that, because first you have double jumps, you have a grappler, but the most helpful thing will be wall running. Yes, you don't need to climb anything here. And also the stamina system doesn't take your stamina when you are sprinting.
It's so good. Like the just the wall climbing, like it's so good, man. I love the animation for it. Um. Oh yeah, yeah. You don't run out of stamina when you're sprinting in the open world. But I think I did saw somewhere where it's like if you're in combat and you try to like sprint dodge, like you dodge but you're sprinting, then it's like uh it does cost like a little bit about stamina. I don't know if that's true or not. Uh, Listen, we're gonna find out when the game launches. I might just look it up. I'm just gonna probably do some research myself and look into it just to see if it's really true. But either way, yeah. Hey, no, we don't lose stamina when we sprint in the open world, boys. That's good.
You only use stamina when in combat or wall running. And I would like mounts to be added in Wuthering Waves, to be honest. I think it will be a very good addition to the game. They can add some farmable mounts, some gacha mounts too. Why not? Because a lot of people like mounts just because they like mounts. So I don't see a problem with adding mounts to the game, to be honest. Now for the world building and the
Yeah,
story,
that's like
it's
personal.
very different. Like we cannot compare the two, to be honest, but if we compare something is that Genshin Impact's lore is very advanced now and it has so many good things in it, while the Wuthering Waves lore just started. So we do not know how good it will be, but for
Wait,
the start it was mid. It wasn't as good as the start of Honkai Star Rail, for example. But if we
yeah,
compare it to 1.0 Genshin, it was a little bit better, but also had the problems of a lot of other gacha game storytellings, and I hope that
yeah. I do. Yeah, no, it's like Wondering Ways. Uh, in terms of the story, I've heard. Yeah, after the close beta one, they they did. It's widely reported. Of course, everyone knows at this point. They redid 90% of the story, and now people are saying the story got a little bit better, but it's not like awesome or like amazing or any that type of stuff. But it's like yeah, we can only compare the story between Genshin and Wuthering Waves because there are two games that are like not mirrors of each other. Well, I guess you could argue or say that yeah, they are kind of like mirrors of each other to where same like concept of like combat, the open world ideal traversing great areas, that type of stuff. Yeah, you can't we cannot compare Wuthering Waves like story to Hawkeye Star Rail story because it's like two different games, and that's kind of like unfair to like Wandering Waves. I mean, especially for like 1.0, it's like that's uh. I mean, like I said, when it comes to the story for One Ways, I don't hear too much about it. Not too much about it, but we'll see. Maybe I might like the story. But for Genshin, it's like 1.0. It's like it wasn't. Genshin Impact 1.0 wasn't really all that. I think Hawkeye Star Rail is the only gotcha game that comes to my mind to where the story, like off, off the freaking rip, like it's a freaking battle on a space station. You got these mobs of enemies that you gotta fight, fight against. You're just getting thrown into like the freaking fight. Like it's a great way to like open it up, and with one of the most likable characters as well, and Kafka, with her and Silverwolf infiltrating her space station. It's such a great way to open up a story for a game. Like I thought it was amazing. Hawkeye Star Rail 1.0 is like kind of like that high, really high goal standard to where it's gonna be probably a long time, or it's gonna be a long while before we see another gotcha game have their 1.0 story be just as good as Hawkeye Star Rail, if not better. It's gonna be a long. It's probably gonna be a long while because from her space station to Bellabog and then Kokoya, like all that stuff, man, it was amazing.
That it improves actually. But I don't think that the Genshin 1.0 is something to be compared to. It was like a mistake from Hoyo. Shit was so ass I had to cut my ears off and burn my house down. That's crazy. But if they showed something in
Yeah.
the story in the beta, is that they are not scared to do anything to the characters. And that's why I'm gonna talk about the difference that nobody's talking about. But the game is rated 16 plus, unlike Genshin which is 12 plus. I'm not me.
Oh. Wait, hold on. I think he was about to make a joke there, but I'll rewind it like just like 5 seconds. But okay, 16 plus. Okay, so it seems like Core Games is definitely good. So hopefully that does introduce the idea of Kuro Games being like, oh yeah, you are potentially, not even potentially, you will see people die in this game. You might see a character that you even like get freaking killed off in this game. Who knows? Like maybe who knows? Maybe Kuro Games is probably gonna be like, hey, we're not afraid to kill off some characters. That guy that you like so much dead. Hey, you know that one chick with her sad backstory. You recently uh got to understand her, and you now understand her motives and like why she has to keep fighting in this dark apocalyptic world. Shot in the head. Like, I mean, I don't know. Is Kuro Games gonna do that? We will see. But 16 plus, that's definitely gonna mean that like so people are gonna die, and that's not to say like people don't die. Like people die in Hawkeye Star Rail, but I guess it's not as graphic, and it's not like kind of like all up in your face. Unless I could be wrong. I'm trying to rethink. Like people just straight up dying like in front of you, like getting killed in like Hawkeye Star Rail. Well, for Genshin, they rarely ever do that. Like I don't think Genshin really does it that much. Trying to think. I mean, Kokoya nuked herself with this, like with the Star Run. I mean, that happened right in front of her daughter. That was crazy. Uh, Let me see. I mean, the Tengu situation. There's that. The soldiers on the Shanzo Lafu being Mara struck. There's probably a few moments. Yeah, there's probably a few moments that Hawkeye Star will have. Oh no, wait. How? Where's my manners? Freaking Panaconi. Enough said. Listen, if you know, you know. But Panaconi, man, I know it's crazy. Panaconi is wild. But anyways, yeah. Well, yeah, 16 plus, right?
Which is 12 plus. I'm not memeing here. When the game is rated 16 plus, the developers in the story will have more freedom to do a lot of other things that Genshin cannot do. They can
Yeah,
take it a step further, and
they
I'm so
could.
excited to see how this will be. So another difference, the stamina system, and also, or you can call it the resin. You have more resin in Wuthering Waves, which is 240, and I'm pretty
Nice.
sure it gets filled faster. But of course,
It gets
this
filled
might
faster?
change
Cool.
when the game comes out, because
Oh.
this was in the CBT2. But not only that, the gearing system or the echoes do not require resin. So this means that you can infinitely farm for gear in this game, which gives you more hours and things to do. The stats
Oh,
that you
okay.
get will be maximized from the start. So
Yeah.
if you get crit damage from level 4, you will get it at max roll. You don't need to level it up and
God,
lose XP and things like
she's so
that.
cool.
People might see it as something good and other people will see it bad. I can see both, to be honest. Now there's a lot of people that are saying that the environment in the game is bad, it's so pale. Some places are different.
To those people saying that, uh, they're just trying to find any little like nitpick thing to say about the game. Like, I like the background, the style of it. And it's like, really, just because it's literally an apocalyptic world, bro. It's an apocalypse. You got freaking cars with mutant legs. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't know how you like it. That's the premise. It's gloomy. It's dark. And here's the thing. Even in some of the gloomy, dark places, in terms aesthetically, if you're looking off in the distance, it still looks really good. Like I just don't get like people like having issues with that. But hey, maybe it's just me. All right. I think it's just listen. I just understand the saying that like we're in a apocalyptic world and there's a lot of mutants. There's a lot of like abominations out there. It's just like I think I understand that concept.
But from what I played, the world looks so good, to be honest. There's a lot of beautiful places that you can go to. I mean, look at the environment.
It looks beautiful.
Okay, I have to move the mouse more. I'm playing on low DPI, okay? You might say that Hoyo does so much things in the environment better, and I might not disagree. Now, there is a lot of other little differences, but all of them are mostly improvements or the same. For example, the ping in this game doesn't matter. If you have 60 ping or 900, it will not be different. And that's
Nice.
why basically you can choose any server that you want, unless you will play a lot of co-op. Here, you will need your ping as any other game. But why is this very important? This means that the start of the game or the launch of the game with more than 31 million pre-registrations will be mostly smooth. Now there's also a difference in the weapons, which is instead of having bow characters, we have melee characters, and I think
And
this
guns,
was a
yep.
very
And
good
guns,
choice. Although I think that a game like Honkai Star Rail or Tower Fantasy are still making a better job at giving you more variety of weapons, because in
true.
Honkai Star Rail you just get a light cone and then you see the weapon, and in Tower
Yep.
Fantasy
That was really good.
you just get a weapon. So it gives more freedom to the developers to make new characters, but
Yeah, it's like Hawkeye Star Wars is like you just get the weapon is just like the light cone, so and you do have more freedom to like Woe uses his cane because his cane has a freaking black hole in it. Himiko has her little merge drones robots and has a freaking orbital laser cannon. MC has a spear and a bat. Uh, March of course bow. You got bow users, then you got pole arms. It's like there's a lot of variety in Hawkeye Star Rail, and haven't played Tower Fantasy once, but apparently according to Mr. Stioorg, apparently there's a lot of variety in that game. So
adding melee characters or melee weapon is a very good choice, to be honest. Since
Yeah.
a 4-star character
I
in
think
Genshin
I
called
think that was a
Heizu
really good
got
option.
so much praise for his gameplay because it was melee. So they can create so many characters that are good with melee. So this is not a rip-off from Genshin Impact. The game takes so many things like Genshin Impact, but it has so many changes and improvements. Kuro Games is trying to tell you that this is Genshin but better. I don't know if it will beat Genshin though, but this will probably be a new successful
So here's the thing. I don't think it has to be Genshin. I think it does have to be. It has to do really good, in my opinion. I think for the way the game is getting hyped up, and from what we've seen from like gameplay, the concept art, and just the style, I think the game has to do really good, really good, and I believe it would do really good. And I think it will be really good. It has to be really good, just enough for Genshin to actually worry about actual competition and actually make improvements to their game. And I believe that's what's going to happen. I think Mother Ways will be good enough. It will be good enough for Genshin to like realize, okay, we've been lying. We've just been relaxing on our morals. We've been we've been doing this to our fan base. We've been dishonest with them. We've been treating them badly. Hopefully, it'll give Genshin developers the realization that they need and the wake up call that they need. Um, but yeah, Wuthering Waves is different just enough to where it's like yes, hopefully with the quality of life changes, more end game content, listening to the players and their feedback, if Wuthering Waves will force Genshin to actually try again and actually bring improvement to their game. And Wuthering Waves is different just enough to say we're like Genshin, but we're better because we actually listen to your issues and we fix them. I mean, it's what Hawkeye Sorrow did. Hawkeye Sorrow did, but the I guess difference is that is a one's turn based, one's open world, and B both are from the same company, but one has a but they both have different developer teams. So there's that. So I think Wuthering Waves is just like the game that Genshin needs to like light that fire underneath their butt.
Full gacha game that we will have so much fun playing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That was the video. Bye bye.
Yeah, man, that was a yeah, man, great video, and yeah, Wuthering Waves is just different enough from Genshin. It's just different enough, and I believe I'll say this again: Wuthering Waves will make Genshin sweat. Wuthering Waves will make Genshin sweat. They'll get nervous, and it's going to make improvement for the game in Genshin. Whether it's more in-game content or actually fixing a couple quality of life updates that the game has needed for years. All right, so that's what I truly believe. But hey, but yeah, that was a stioorg, guys. Make sure to subscribe. Alright, subscribe, like the video. This was a really good video, bringing up the point of how different Modern Ways is from Genshin, and how these differences will most likely be the reason why people, well, especially the hardcore players of Genshin who actually want hardcore content and actually want more in-game content, and also they're disgruntled, so they'll come over. This will get them to come over to Wuthering Waves and maybe make Wuthering Waves their either their new main game or like maybe their second game behind Hawkeye Sorrow. Who knows? Either way, people are gonna come into Wuthering Waves. People are coming into play. It is still 4 days away at the time of recording from Wuthering Waves to premiere, if you will. And I'm excited for it. Everyone's excited for it, and I can't wait for it. That's gonna be it for this video today. There's gonna be more Wuthering Waves videos, related topics coming up, and then I'm probably gonna post another video or two in the coming, whether it's by the end of today or maybe by Sunday, tomorrow. Um, there's gonna be some Hawkeye. We're gonna go back to Hawkeye Starro, and we're gonna finish that story, man. We need to finish that story. But anyways, that's the end of this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe and like the video on stioorg's channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.